Hello, this is Lino Tadros, and in this video I will show you how to contribute new blog post to your own blog engine inside of Sitefinity. So let's go ahead and get started. Here in our site, I'm going to go to content, click on content and go down to the second one down for the type of content, which is blogs. And you'll notice in this website we don't have any blog engines. So it will say create a blog. Remember, this is not about creating a blog post. This is just about creating a blog engine. So you have to do that first. So we'll create a blog and we'll give it a name. We'll call it, for instance, Lino blog. You can call it anything you want. And that will be the URL that will be identifying the URL before you get to any blog post in your own blog engine. You can also give it an additional URLs regarding rerouting, or if you want to make it shorter, for instance, on your website, instead of having to type the domain and the Lino blog / and the blog post, you can change the additional URLs for it right away if you would like as well. I'm going to say, go ahead and create me that blog engine. And from that point on, I can create my articles, my blog posts themselves. So I'll say create a post, for instance, in here. And it's the same thing that you will do, for instance, if you'd like to create a press release under the news module. You would be giving a title, let's say, for instance, my first blog post. There you go. And in the content here, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to go to the Chrome. I have a free plugin that I have in here called Lorem Ipsum that will generate me whatever amount of paragraphs with whatever amount of sentences, so I don't have to type too much. You can download that for free for any of the browsers. And I'm going to come in here and paste that. Let's steal one of the sentences from the content, make it the summary. I'm going to copy that, put it in the summary as well. And then you get to actually do a categorization and tags. These are the taxonomies. We'll talk about that in a different video, but you can actually add one or more categories or one or more tags to associate with that specific blog post. And at the end here, for more options, I can actually change the URL. It automatically takes it directly from the title and it replaces all the spaces with dashes, so it can be a legal URL. I can also give it a different additional URL. That means maybe I have this blog was available before I even went to Sitefinity. It was available maybe on a PHP website or a pure HTML way before my company moved to Sitefinity. I can still use the old URL to be rerouted automatically into Sitefinity if I add that to the additional URLs. And of course, you can allow comments or deny comments on your blog post on the site as well. All right, let's go ahead and publish this guy. So let's go ahead and create a list. So just one more blog post. So instead of redoing all the stuff, I'm going to go to the ellipses at the bottom and there at the top of the page, and I'm going to say duplicate. And let's call this one my second blog post, and I'll leave everything the same. We'll say publish as well. All right, great. So at least I have two blog posts in there. We'll go ahead and click on the back button and notice my Lino blog, one of the engines that I've created, have two blog posts in it. Great. Let's go back to pages in here. And I'd like to actually put it maybe on one of my pages. There will already be two different widgets available for MVC. Let me go ahead and delete this from here. I was using that for the news. Notice there is one called blogs and another one called blog post. The blogs one will just show you all the different blog engines. So in my case, I only have one, and that will be the Lino blogs. But what I'm really interested in is to display a list of all the blog posts, right? So I'm going to drag this blog post. Let's put it in the middle in here. Immediately, it will receive all the published blog posts from the database, and it will show them one after the other in here. The last published one will be at the top. And I can actually change now the filter, the list views, and the single item views all from the edit. So I can go in here. This is the first tab. You notice the content. That's about the filtering system. Right now it says from all blogs. What does that mean? It means if I have multiple engines, and I want to remind you only have one engine, the Lino blog, but if I had more than one, it will aggregate and syndicate all the blog posts from all the different engines into the same list. Or maybe for this page, I only want to bring things from the Lino blog only, not the other engines. I can do that as well. I can say select. It will show me a list of all the blog engines. I'll say Lino blog. It will not make any difference because it's the only blog engine that I have, but hopefully you can see what we can do in here, whether it's all blogs or specifically blog engine, or from currently open blog or selected blog post. So maybe I just want to show the second blog post, not the first one. I can do that as well. I can go in here. It will show me all the published one. I can say, show me just the second blog post. And when I say save, that will automatically be my single item view for my second blog post right away. Does that make sense? So I'm going to go back and say, show me everything. And then you can narrow the selection. You can do it all published blog posts or selection of blog posts. So I can say, I want to only show ones with specific category or a specific date, or you can even say, just show me the blog on the homepage only from the last 6 months or the 3 months or 30 days. I can do that. We can click on here. Instead of saying everything from any time, I can say last, and we'll say 6, and you can say weeks, months, years, whatever you would like, and we will do that. So you can actually filter it however you would like as well. For right now, I'll keep it all. And then the second tab will be the list settings, and that will be how many do you want to show on top of each other. Right now I only have 2. Maybe you have 10 or 20 in the database. Some people don't like to show 20 different blog posts on top of each other in the list. That's too much real estate on the home page. Maybe you want to limit it to only 3 or 5 or something like that. Does that make sense? If you use paging, if you have more than 3, for instance, there will start being numbers at the bottom, like 1, 2, 3, 4, like Google does when you do a result to show you. So you can click on the number to go to that page to show the rest of the blog post. If you say use limit, that will only show you, let's say 3, for instance, and you will not be able to get to anything other than the last 3 because there will be no numbers underneath it. Usually I don't like to do the no limit and paging, it all depending of course on your situation, but that even if you have 100 press releases that are published, all of them will show up on top of each other in the real estate of the page. Make sense? The next one is the sorting. So by default, the last published blog post will be all the way at the top. You can change that to make it the last modified on the top. You can take it by title, ascending or descending. You can set it manually, and that you'll have to do it in the back end, so you can move the priority up and down of specific blog post. Or you can do it in advanced mode. That means you'll probably need to write some regular expressions in the advanced in here to tell it, for instance, I want all the ones authored by Lino first and then everybody else. You can do that as well. Make sense? The single item settings, very similar to the list, except this is when we click on only one press release. So you don't have a list like this one we're seeing here in the background. That's only one list. That means we'll have the date, the author, the summary, and then the full content. Alrighty. You can also select a different page to display this. Otherwise, it will also generate the single item in the same page the list was on. And maybe sometimes that's not what you want. Sometimes you would like to show the list on the home page, but when they click on something, they go to a different page with a different layout to read the entire single blog post. Does that make sense? And I'm going to say save, and there we go. Now we can publish this. And if I go backwards here for a second, now I can view the page. So there you go, we click on view. This is what the front end will look like for anybody in the world that have access to my website. Notice I'm at the /home page. Whenever I click on the title or the full story, both of them, by the way, link to exactly the same page, which is the full content of the blog post itself. Let's click on that. Notice it goes to /home, and then there is a lot of things out of it. The Lino blog is the name of the blog engine, and then there is a 2022, 12, 20, all of these things. Where did that come from? All the stuff, actually, you're still at the home page, by the way, but just the back end of Sitefinity changes this. Instead of giving you a question mark with a query string, which usually Google crawler doesn't like very much, so we don't want to show a query string, otherwise it can lower your ranking and so on. So it changes it. Even though this is not true, we don't have a folder called 2022 and 12 and 20. This is just to fake it, really, so that whoever is trying to rank your page sees this is a unique URL. There is no query string in it, and it will give you a full ranking for that page. That is pretty nice. But at the back end, of course, all the stuff has to be deciphered pretty much, and go back to the database and find out where is that blog post and view it on the same page as well. This is how easy it is really to be able to create blog engines and blog posts and submit them to a specific page to make them published. Very easy to do, all drag and drop, no coding to write, very easy to be able to create blog posts and engines in Sitefinity. Hopefully this was useful to you, and hopefully we'll see you soon on another video on Lino TV. Thank you.